And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Or good afternoon or good evening, depending where you are, of course. It's been a long time since we had one of these live events, and I'm so happy, that we connect again. Especially because today we have a very special occasion. We are going to go and present the finalists of the Summer Look Academy 2021. Basically, it is definitely one of the world's best professional colorist training courses, and these people that we have selected for the finals are top of the crop of professional colorists today. I'm so happy to see you all here. I can see that there is quite a few people who are also part of the Summer Look Academy. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you all. I'm going to start straight away, actually, with the. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to go and quickly click through these kind of, slides. I was just, as I was preparing, I went through. So sorry, guys. You're going to have to go and, see these slides. There we go. It was my mistake, and I should have rewinded the slides a little bit earlier. Anyway, never mind. So what is actually Summer Look Academy? I really wanted just to start, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with it, because I'm pretty sure, there's some of the people, have tuned in just out of the curiosity. Basically, it's been voted to be like the best colorist training, based on your feedback, and I have to tell you, like the way we started it, was just a kind of as a way to replace apprenticeship programs that we used to have inside professional post-production companies. In the past, the way how every colorist would learn would be simply to start as a junior or as an assistant and then work inside a professional company and then basically slowly build up their skills by being mentored by a senior colorist. Now, unfortunately, this has now completely stopped because there is simply many more colorists than there are facilities, and also the business model for facilities has changed. They don't necessarily see themselves as a places that have to build colorists. They see themselves more as a places that hire already established colorists. So if you're like not established colorists, it's very hard to get a job at the facility. They really want to hire only those people who will bring clients with them. So it's kind of, chicken and an egg situation where basically, a young colorist, can't really progress because, they don't get an opportunity to start working in a professional environment because they don't have a clients, and yet, professional post-production companies don't have colorists that they can bring in order to kind of, hire them because they can't find colorists, who have enough, client base. So it's a little bit funny situation. So we said, what, the only way for us to solve it is to find an alternative way how to do it. And this Summer Look Academy program was invented exactly for that. But it just went much beyond that, actually. It became much more than that. The kind of idea about the teaching for Summer Look Academy came from a few years ago. Actually, I was invited to do a lecture at Frankfurter Hochschule, which is a very well-established art school in Frankfurt in Germany. And I spoke to like a dean and a professor of the school when I was there, and I asked him, so how do you teach art? And I got a really interesting answer. And what he said to me, you don't. So basically, you don't teach art. You can inspire people to create art, and you can, guide them and give them some inspiration and guidelines. But, you have to let, creators create. And I really kind of, that got stuck with me because you see the problem with color grading at the moment is that there is a 1 million different options how you can learn different techniques. I mean, everybody's posting on YouTube some kind of tips how to do this. There is training courses, for this, for that, but they are very technical. They're just showing you like a tips and tricks of how to operate equipment. And there is none really that teach you the art. And colorist job is really very important, because it lives in this intersection between art and technology, right? You have to, have a technological skills in order order to operate the equipment, but also, you have to, there is a huge amount of artistry in there in order to be able to express, director's vision in the best possible way. So we created a course that is going to teach art. And think about this, the way how we're going to do it is, well, we're just not going to teach art. We're going to just let, our students be inspired. So that was a kind of, first thing we changed, or like I call it a broke the rules, right? So we're not like going like, hey, do this, that. No, we're just basically giving you material. We're not necessarily showing exactly what needs to happen with it. And then our students then get inspired, each week, and then, create new things. We certainly introduce new technologies and new techniques, but, this is not really what the focus of course is all about. The next thing then we did is we actually broke another rule, which is we never advertised for this course. So basically it's kind of, totally crazy. You think like, hey, you make a course, but you don't advertise for it. But actually, funny enough, we never had to advertise because there was, the course was always sold out. The moment we announce it, it gets sold out, so we don't really have to kind of advertise it because those people who are interested in learning this type of stuff, they know how to find this course. And also, like, I find it probably a better way, because if somebody has a desire to discover something and find something, they are going to go and find it. They don't have to be given anything. They don't have to be forced to do something. And I think, everybody who joins Summer Look Academy, has this attitude, hey, I am here because I want to learn, I want to progress. And then another thing also, we're not an open course, so you just can't go and, give your credit card details and join the course. It doesn't work like that at all. You have to go through an application process. And, because we have a limited amount of seats, and as I said, those seats are always sold out, we kind of go through selection process and we choose, who is going to attend the course. And primarily we want to just make sure that the person who's joining the course has got, enough of professional references that we feel that they are right moment in their professional career, to be able to progress further, and that this course is going to benefit them, so that we're looking that they are basically, first maybe they have trained with us already, maybe they attended Summer Look Academy. If you attended Summer Look Academy, or Winter Look Academy, you're automatically drawn into the next one if you want to. But also we want to see whether you're a member of some professional organization, what your show reel is like, and so on. And then based on all these criteria, we select a group of people, which is very small, relatively small for courses, but that's the only way how we can actually kind of make the course like a very dynamic, because there is a lot about creation and practical stuff to it. And then we broke another rule. Actually, this is kind of, third rule, and we live in this kind of digital world. Everything is digital, but we teach completely analog filmmaking. So, our students, have learned so much about film through the Summer and Winter Look Academy. It's actually absolutely amazing. It's amazing, how many, things we learned about film. And we actually went as far as find the people who were the first people to process film in Hollywood. We even had people like Beverly Woods, who used to run, Deluxe. Then we had some of the top color scientists like Josh Pines. We had one of the first colorists in the world ever. Person who in 1972 had a business card colorist called Price Patel. So, we really went deep, and we always kind of try to bring, guest lecturers that inspire, that basically give us, some knowledge that is not necessarily widely available. And actually there is so much amazing know-how that's been left, from the film days that, we have kind of, almost ignored, I would say, like we forgot about it. Okay? So this is really like, what makes, the Summer and Winter Look Academy so special. And I kind of, wanted just to kind of talk to you a little bit to what was happening this one, because we always try to make some changes in something a little bit, better. So this year we said, okay, we're not gonna use any plugins, for the looks. We're going to try to go and create the film looks completely without a plugin. So that means we actually taught our students how they can make their own custom film emulation. So basically really like, we would take, images shot on film, and we taught them how they can analyze these images and how they can use tools inside DaVinci Resolve to reproduce those looks. So basically, like, instead of just applying a lookup table that says, oh, I'm a film profile, how you can build that profile yourself, how you can create your own film emulation. And that's a really, like, was aimed for that, and we had an amazing results with this. The second thing, we had an amazingly well shot professional film material by a very good our friend and amazing cinematographer called Robert Lees, who has kindly provided us with several scenes from a movie that he shot called Klejcha. Absolutely wonderful film. If you are in Poland, I think you should try to watch it. I don't know whether they had its international release yet, but actually, it was such a pleasure to work with such a wonderful material. We also had some very interesting guest lecture. I'm going to talk more about it in a minute. And then, of course, there is always this final assignment. And what is this final assignment? So it's basically another kind of thing which is very specific. Most kind of courses will give you okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and course is over, see you later. But we don't. We actually go and say, hey, do this, do this, do this. But when you have finished the course, then we want to see what you learned. We want to then see how you progressed. Whether you have absorbed any of this knowledge and any of these skills that we have taught. This is actually this kind of final part, that where we kind of want to not just kind of teach you something, but we want to see, hey, how well you have as a student progressed and how well you have moved on a path of your career as an artist and a creator. And this is the final assignment. And this is why we always kind of allow a significant amount of time for that assignment to happen, for us to analyze it and so on. So this is exactly what we're going to see today. By the way, we actually also start every week with the analysis of a film. And this, Summer Look Academy, we had some very interesting selections. So we watched and analyzed a film called Carol by Ed Lachman, because he was one of the guests, and it's a very international, interesting film because it was shot on film, of course. Then we had A Cat's Eye by Jack Cardiff. Again, very important cinematographer, one that, I think every colorist should study his work. It's one of the, most regarded cinematographers in the world. Then we saw The Emperor from Vittorio Storaro. He's our absolute favorite, because, but we kind of watched a masterclass from Storaro, and then, we were watching the movie. It just kind of goes really well together. It's an inspirational to watch Storaro's movies in any case. And then the last week we had A Cassandra's Dream by Vilmos Zsigmond. Again, another amazing cinematographer that, sometimes, people don't necessarily pay so much attention to some of his work, but actually really, really important one, when we are like understanding, this aesthetic of film and what can be done with film. And, he was the one who was really experimenting a lot, and the looks he was creating were actually, he was the one who was pushing the boundaries back then. So really interesting, set of movies, and actually really interesting movies to see. If you guys, even if you have not, been part of the Summer Look Academy, you should try to see one of these films actually, because they are all, artistically at the top of the game. The next thing then we did is we learned some techniques, so we start by analyzing a movie, then the next day we learn techniques, and the techniques we learned this year were, number one, shadows control. It was actually one of those things that, now is becoming much more important as we work in HDR. And there is much more detail in the shadows now, how to control shadows. And it's becoming a very important tool for cinematographers, how they're going to express themselves with shadows. And, this is something that gets very often ignored. You just kind of put an S-curve and you think this is the look, but actually there is, we need to learn how to control those shadows and really it was actually an amazing and eye-opening, exercise. Then we learned how to create a 60s news footage, which was such a wonderful, exercise, and the results we got were beyond, some of the students, have just really excelled in this, so think about it, you have footage shot on red camera and you have to make it look, like it's been shot as a news camera, in the 60s, and not just that, we had to superimpose it on a TV screen so it looks like somebody's watching that footage in their living room on an old TV. It was just wonderful. This is one of the most interesting exercises actually that we did. Then we build a custom negative profile from, I think, 5205 or 5219, I think, I'm not sure, in any case, we learned, how to take something that's shot on film, and then how to extract, the profiling and apply to digital camera. And then we did the same for print profiles the following week. So, it's actually really, really, really an amazing curriculum if you think about it, the stuff that we learn. And this is where Summer Look Academy goes beyond, original apprenticeships model, because when you start, saying okay, we are now trying to build somebody and replace its apprentice, to be honest, to get this type of knowledge and skills that we are showing here, it's impossible, to learn inside the facility, because there is a color scientist who kind of worries about it, and it's very rare for colorists to switch and take color scientist job or something like that, So actually, even many top colorists don't even know do this, because they don't need to. They have a color scientist that's doing it for them. Yet, in our kind of new modern world of, working remotely and, being a kind of, boutique facility owner, colorist, like a remote worker, colorist really has to have those skills as well, because there isn't that person out there who's going to do it for them. So, really, really, really interesting, how far we've been pushing the boundaries. Okay, we also had a guest lectures, just to remind ourselves, and then absolutely fantastic Matt Tomlinson, one of the top color scientists in the world, one who has created some of the best show lots ever. He actually completely opened his treasure chest and showed us how he builds his show lots, and it was mind-blowing to see him work, actually, how he builds profiles, the tools that he's using, and he built a Superman-inspired look. It was so good to see that. It's unbelievable, the amount of precision and detail that goes into matte slots. Then we spoke to Ed Lachman, primarily because, we've been using Ed Lachman zones. It's an incredible tool. And he says, no, it's not Ed Lachman zones. It's called EL, exposure latitude zones, or whatever. I was like, no, we're going to definitely give you a credit for that. So that was really wonderful talk, to hear how he worked and what he used to do with film and how we were able to then replicate this digitally. And then, we had the two colorists. And one of the things that I always, aspired, at least what I learned when I was, what I still do when I still kind of go, and I learned the best by watching a colorist work. There is nothing better than when you sit at the back of the grading theater and you watch a colorist at work. I think this is just the best training ever. This is the best training. This is that apprenticeships model where you basically sit next to a senior colorist and you watch him work or her work. It's just amazing. And we had two really, really, really senior and incredible colorists, as our guests. First, it was Nat Jenks from Postworks in New York. He just, unbelievable. What we did is the same sequence that we were grading, in that week, we gave to Nat, and then the next sequence we gave to Mark Todd Osborne. So basically, and we got them to do the same exercise that we were doing. So it was not only just watching them do some arbitrary stuff. No, they were actually working on the same material that everybody else is using, all of us. And then we were able to see how they would do this, and how they work, and how they set their node tree, and how they approach look creation. Unbelievable. And that is really inspirational. That is really something that, I find is the best way how to learn. Not just to go and just watch somebody do it, but actually to see them do exactly the same material that we're working on. We have access to the same material and so on. And then, we close, as I said, with Mark Todd Osborne, an amazing, hugely experienced senior colorist from Los Angeles, who, again, was just, it was just so beautiful to see him at work and how far he pushes when he says it's enough and so on. I really, really enjoyed that part very much as well, and all of our students too. So, it was the guest lectures are always, one of the most, interesting parts of the program. So now we go to the final assignments. As I said, the most important part, at least to me, because I always want to see like how well did we do. And based on these final assignments, really, this is the kind of reference for us. How good was the whole course? Because we are really like looking for the quality. We really want to see what output we're going to get out of the course, out of the final assignments. And I have to tell you that each time each Look Academy is just getting better and better and better. So ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I would like to now present you the finalists. So out of 129 assignments that we have received, the final assignments that we have received, we have selected a very small group of finalists. So this is a group of people that we think have done incredibly well. And then that group of people, and those works we have then shown to several colorists, color scientists, directors, and cinematographers who have then voted for the best ones. But first, I want to show you who were the finalists of this year's Summer Look Academy 2021. So tell me, put it in the chat. Let me know. Are there any in particular that you think looked amazing? Any that were favorite for you? I want to hear like some of your thoughts and your ideas before we start revealing actually who are the winners of this year's Summer Look Academy final assignment contest. Oh my God. Yes, looked great. Yes, Isaac, I agree with you. I agree with you. Actually, I could see in a lot of them, some details. For example, Tim Kersken's, work, you could see so much into the shadows, which is kind of that first exercise we were talking about. And also you can totally see the theme of that kind of analog film look. Everybody was doing this just so well, like applying the skills that we were doing. Like, it's unbelievable. Actually, I really, really, really like it. Rita, yes, Lucas says Rita was very good. Oh my God, I tell you, Gary says breathtaking. Very good. So okay. So guys, are you ready for me to start revealing who are actually winners, right? Are we ready to start doing that? Okay, so I am going to start now with the number 5. Actually, we have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but the number 5 is shared because they ended up having the same amount of votes. And we kind of said, okay, fine, they're both going to go and win a 5th place. So I'm just going to go now and switch to this type of slides. So ladies and gentlemen, actually let me just go back because this is me just not paying attention earlier. There we go. Okay, so number 5 are Mimi Luo and then Brad Mendes. I used to call him Brad Mendes, but it's Brad Mendes. So let's start first with Mimi's work. Mimi did a piece that is called Bangla Help. And I'm just going to go and read a little bit from Mimi's statement, what she said about this. So she said, my final assignment is a few clips I selected from a charity project, Bangla Help. The specialty of this project is aiming to support education for local children in Bangladesh. And the project was shot in documentary style, following a schoolboy and his family, and the image reflects the true living condition of the school environment. Many scenes are shot in dark interior with small windows. The composition of shot gives a feeling of breathlessness. However, instead of enhancing impoverished living school condition, the director wanted to find the beauty and the local people, especially optimism from children. Visually, the creative style has to provide a contrast between the local people and the environment. The visual style has to maintain a true condition of the environment, but in the main, while finding the right aesthetic tone to bring up the optimism. So it was all shot on Blackmagic Raw, and then she used log C to conform Blackmagic Raw to log C, and then she used film print emulation. She created in the class, so she used her own custom film print emulation. Also, I needed to enable few particular hues to fit footage. So you see, this is another advantage when you do your own custom LUTs. You can actually go and tweak them to your footage. And then, of course, she kind of applied modulation transfer function and a 35 millimeter grain. So here again is just a piece from. So as you can see, absolutely beautiful. Look at those hues. Look how gorgeous, she, I mean, not that she has succeeded, but she's actually just absolutely. Look at the glow through the window, and I actually think she completely elevated this piece. So well done, Mimi. Okay, very good. Alrighty, next one. The next number 5 is Brad Mendes. I think I keep calling him Mendes because of the singer Mendes, but no, he's actually Mendes. I loved his piece, actually. He was my favorite, from the beginning, and I'm so happy to see him actually reach the number 5. So The story is about a barber in the UK who had his license suspended due to something unrelated to being a barber. His passion for his business and clients led him to open a speakeasy, an underground barber shop. I wanted the cool, almost vintage-esque look for the underground vibe. The original photography was much warmer and more saturated with little cool tones. I wanted the piece to feel cool but retain the warmth in the skin as well as the light in the space. I love the look of Drive. Tom Poole did a fantastic job and it achieves a similar look that I was after. It isn't a one-to-one copy, but the inspiration where I landed came solely from this one image. So let's have a look. Here is Brad's work. Check this out. And you see again, how beautifully he controls shadows. He's in a dark environment, but we can see every little bit of detail. Look at the big contrast between the skin and the cool shadows. But so beautifully subtly done. Look at the gorgeous skin tones. Unbelievable. Yet everything is so dark and so visible, so beautifully done. I have to say, Brad, this is such an exceptional piece of work. Such a beautiful work, and this is all that we always hope, that we're going to start seeing these results where you are paying detail to that kind of minuscule kind of changes in a shadow. You are really telling story through the shadow here. I don't know if I'd be this barber, I'd be super happy with this work. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Yeah, and the final touch, there we go. And this is ladies and gentlemen, Brad Mandas, the number 5. Woo, a little round of applause for him. Okay, so who's number 4? Let's see who's number 4. Bang. Nick Leavesley, ladies and gentlemen. So it's the Nick. This was the number 4. Let's see what Nick did. So Nick did this beautiful piece of a car. Actually, it's called Driven by Memories. Okay, so let's see a little bit, what is this about. So in this film, I wanted to convey the 1940s inspired design of a prototype 9 concept car within a film by having a filmic yet modern look throughout. To do this, I took inspiration from a wide range of sources. I began by looking at footage shot at races in the 1940s to get an idea for how footage from the time looked. I then looked at a range of movies, adverts, and TV shows that had a modern HDR look, such as Ford versus Ferrari, Baby Driver, Devs, and iPhone 3 launch event. I love it. I mean, you get me. He went from Ford versus Ferrari to iPhone 3 launch event. I wanted to maintain an airy HDR look of modern cameras with large dynamic range, while keeping beautiful color response of Vision 3D 50 and 2383 film prompt emulation. This was shot with 3 cameras: Red Helium, DJI, Inspire X5, Sony FS5. After collection inspiration, I decided to split the edit into 2 different grades. The first section was shot in a studio to highlight the key designs of the 1940s racers. And for this section, I thought that would be fitting to reference the archival footage that I had found in the 1940s racers to further emphasize design cues. Actually, let me just play you Nick's piece while I'm reading this. I mimicked the tonal characteristics, exposure, flicker, and grain of the 8mm film used in the footage while still maintaining punchy modern feel, making the most of the large dynamic range of the red sensor. For the second section of the film, I converted all the footage to Verilog C and used Look Designer to apply subtractive color adjustment and Vision 350D negative stock. I also used lift, gamma, and gain to maintain large amount of dynamic range of each shot to maintain an airy HDR look to the overall piece. I then used a modified version of a tone map and color gamut of the 2383 FPE I had created in the course to further emphasize filmic response to the footage. Well done, well done, well done. I think, deserves a little round of applause. And without any break, we are moving to number 3. And who is that? It is Rita Mancino. Yes, Rita. Let's see what Rita did. So Rita did a piece. It's called, 1 second, let's see. It's called A Brand New World. I love this eye. I think just this eye, just the cover. Actually, I remember, I was looking through it and I saw this cover. I was like, okay, what is this? And then, I read, Rita's statement, and let's go through it together. I think, guys, you're going to absolutely love this. A brand new world combines a warm desert look with the blue urban city environment. Recurring to the stock footage, I created a teaser that shows a man wandering across a hot desert trying to find his way to futuristic city. The biggest challenge was to merge these two environments together, integrating the warm tone of the blue-teal color palette. Since the stock footage had some elements I wanted to remove, I started by doing some rotoscoping work. I also wanted to have an eye shot with an explosion reflected as a reference to Blade Runner. God, what a great idea. Actually, let me play Rita's work while I'm actually reading this. So here we go. Here is Rita's movie, A Brand New World. Wow, now I actually just realized that I was reading the last part, but I'm gonna go, guys, and just give you this again, just so you can see what she said. So she said that first she started with balancing everything out first. Then she used Look Designer as a show light creator, where she gave it a green tone in the shadows so it could manage the blue with the warm tone better. And then after started shaping each shot with the help of some keying and power windows, finished up using Look Designer subtractive color and grain. Absolutely amazing work. I actually think, that her, mixing this kind of warm tones, and guys, what she's doing? She's just kind of went and downloaded a few shots from stock library and, got in an absolutely amazing piece. Absolutely beautiful, and that kind of little effect shots with fire. I think, Rita, well done. Well deserved 3rd place. We're super, super proud of your work. Excellent. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Darren Hartman. Well, it comes as a no surprise, I have to tell you, because Darren's been with us, from the beginning. This is definitely, one of his, I don't know exactly which Summer Look Academy or Winter Look Academy he did with us, he was absolutely, everybody who was voting, absolutely loved his work, and then later when I told him that actually that Darren was also just using a stock library, no one could believe. Everybody thought this was some sort of, a sequence from some sort of romantic comedy. No one could believe that this was just, some sort of stock footage, that he managed to regrade and make it look like this, because he totally elevated it. You have to agree with that. What he did is he completely changed the character of it. So for this assignment, I cut together a video using footage from Raw.film. So I think Raw.film should give him some sponsorship deal for this. I wanted to test the 5203 negative and 2383 print scan matches we did in previous assignments together on different footage. I wanted to get a look that fit the mood of the footage. A sweet moment between a couple that could also maybe scattered memories of one of the characters. Warm, soft, and a little bit dreamy. I pulled together references from a few commercial projects that had similar kind of feelings, that had contrasting warm and cool tones, but also had soft shadows. To create the look, I used 5203 and 2383 matches that we created in the class as my base. So you see, this is him using actual, profiles from the class. And I did my exposure, color balancing, and power windows upstream of them. In my post group notes, I added 2383 alignment match, weaver match, halation using film box, and some soft bloom to the highlights using scatter filtration, and the grain lab. Ever since Nat's guest lecture, I've been experimenting more with combining multiple show lights to pull certain elements. So there we go. There we go. So we are taking inspiration from, senior colorists. Nat showed us an amazing trick how he balances and creates looks by, mixing several lights together. So I used another LUT I've made recently with the key output turned down that I like how it softens the toe even further, and then I used Look Designer to blend in some more additional agfa negative. Wow. Let's go and have a look at the Darren's work. Let's have a look.
Spend a lifetime in the mirror, always afraid of what someone else would say. Wanted to be strong, so it took some time to tell you. But you knew from the things I'd say. Why do you say that, babe? You're my beautiful, you're my heart, and you're beautiful just this way. When I took the time to tell you, you took the time to listen to me too. Now I see it today. I see my face. Spend a lifetime in the mirror, picking apart what I couldn't change. And I saw my mother, my father, my brother in my face, in my face. Most of the time it was the only.
Wow, those tones, the hues of Darren work make me cry. I mean, I love it. I love it. I love that look, like I love those skin tones, how the greens in the background, the water, the richness is absolutely so beautiful. So beautiful, Darren. And and it's just also beautiful, when we read, the amount of effort you put in to create it. And, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming now to our finals. So, any guesses who that might be? Who do you think has won the #1 prize for the Summer Look Academy? What do you think? Okay, so I'm not gonna kind of keep you waiting any longer. So ladies and gentlemen, there we go. So the winner of the Summer Look Academy 2021 is Stephen Latti! Woo! Big round of applause, everybody, for Stephen! Absolutely amazing work by Stephen. You're all gonna agree. We're gonna go now a little bit more into detail, and also now when you see exactly, what Stephen did and how he approached it, you're just gonna absolutely be stunned. I mean, amazing. So the Stephen's work is a short movie called Virgil. And I have to say, the moment I saw Virgil, I kind of have totally fallen in love with this. I was like, wow, there was something about it. I couldn't quite put my finger on it to kind of say, what is it that I really, why is it so that, there is something about Virgil that was just, absolutely stunning. So, and then I started realizing it is to do with the way, how, Stephen used the red top of the boy and the green. And then when I started reading, his statement, it became clear, to how much, effort and thought actually Steven put in. So it's a much longer kind of, statement that we received from other people. Not that you guys have to send us a long statement in order to win, but it was just something that, really had stood out, the amount of, thought and effort that, did go inside. So I'm going to start first just by kind of, it's actually 3 pages. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to go through all of this right now, but I'm going to give you like a little bit an idea. So Virgil is a short suspense film, a touch of supernatural horror. I think what I'm going to do actually, while I'm reading this, I'm going to go and play you Steven's work, and then maybe we can play it in a loop and you can just watch it a few times, because I think it does really need, like I have to say that, when I played it first time, I had to play it again, because it just felt to me that there was so much detail in it that I'm missing and that I needed to see it again. So let me actually go and play you so that you can watch, the piece while I'm going through Steven's statement. So this is Virgil. So it's a short suspense film with a touch of supernatural horror. Written and directed by filmmakers Chris Stevens and Hunter Daniels and photographed by Stephen Parr. The story is a simple young boy, Jeremy, moves to a new home with his mother. It's a disappointing move. The house isn't as nice as where they used to live. But the real sadness is the absence of Jeremy's father, a decorated soldier whose death has left a silent void in his life. A major inspiration for Virgil comes from the classic children adventure film E.T. from 1982, quoting that film, our young alienated hero wears a red hoodie, just like Elliot. The hoodie is a focal point of Virgil. The color stands out from the other colors in the film in the saturation and richness, highlighting our hero's isolation, but also his vulnerability. Jeremy is a target, and the red hoodie is his mark. Once Virgil begins to menace, he's a sitting duck in the pale, sad world of his new home. Unbelievable. You see how the red hoodie changes now, right? So, the world of Virgil is not the cozy suburban family abode of E.T., however. It's closer to the cold, desaturated landscape of The Witch, 2015. The monochromatic surrounding the character makes it clear that every moment that they are not safe or welcome. That this is not a place where they ought to call home. This is a world where they will encounter horror. It is in the middle of the day and the color of the air is cold. Something dangerous lurks here, and yet there is something slightly warmer about the shadowy attic where the boy encounters Virgil. The dark brown tones of the bare wooden walls make it a warm someplace our hero may paradoxically find solace and escape. Another fantasy story. Okay, this is from inspiration from a movie, A Monster Calls. Let me go and play it again, actually, right? Okay, this will contrast with features of Virgil, who assumes the appearance of the hero's grotesque doppelganger. Virgil is introduced by ominous green glow of a computer screen. So you see, this is what he's doing. He's playing with this red, of his top, and then that green, of Virgil's, screen, right? That green comes from P1 phosphor monitor of early computers, but it's also inevitably the goldish greenish glow of physiological and supernatural horror, chromatic theme older than color cinema. Just C1 GOG. The glowing green we instantly recognize as the cue of a monster, and yet things are complicated than that because the green is also strangely alluring. For inspiration with this green that combines both allure and repulsion, Virgil is inspired by the classic image from Vertigo from 1958 when Scotty encounters the ghostly double of his lost love Madeline by neon green of backlit window. Okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just move now a little bit to how he has created these looks, right? So, okay, reducing contrast of luminance between these two colors, talking about the red and green, color intensifies the effect of the color complement, giving equal color weight to presence of the protagonist and the antagonist. This warm, cool contrast is repeated between the skin highlight tint, which is intended to highlight the sense of the main character isolation from the environment. Overall, Virgil draws inspiration from the Kodak film print look, a luminescent, organically rich image harkening movie-going at the cinema, where the flicker of the projector and scratches wobble of the film were as much part of cinematic experience as the story. This look is characterized by cool daylight, warm shadows, and rich colors that are full but not over-saturated. A deep shadowy darkness is present everywhere, but it's the darkness that we can see into. I mean, he absolutely nails it, like, with every step, So yes, you need to see into that, right? And then the shadows of Virgil will reveal horrors of loss and abandonment. What we see in the shadows will only make us more afraid. Virgil aims to make the viewer feel cozy in his nostalgic aura of a film look, a place where they can drift away and behold a very scary story. My approach to building this grade was somewhat unconventional. I was working on the project before we started to build our print looks in Summer Look Academy. The film I graded with, delivered to the filmmakers, is quite a different look, stylish, but much more modern and clean. I started my SLA look with the balance, windows, and keys that I built for the original look, but I stripped away the color correction, print look, and contrast that I had applied at the end of the Node tree in Look Designer 2.4. Then I applied the tone map and color map and creative look that I developed for our week 4 print look timeline. So he also looked his custom look. And all of these I applied after the clean CI Rec 79 transform. I had to do a bit of reverse engineering at this point, as the contrast was still too intense, and some of the color warper tweaks in my color map did not play nicely with the dark scenes in the attic, creating a lot of noise in the desaturated red shadows. So in Look Designer, I applied an 100% L2 contrast. This lifted up the image and put the contrast just in the right spot. Then I pulled back on some of the color warper adjustment on the color map and achieved look that was clean in the shadows and worked for all of the shots. And I have to tell you, Steven, this is something that, we should submit actually for the HPA awards. I mean, this is like, this is a world-class work. I mean, this is unbelievable. I have to tell you, and I hope that, the filmmakers that you worked with on this short have seen this grade and that they have actually, because I'm pretty sure they will want you to change the grading completely, right? They're going to want it to be, completely a new grade. So ladies and gentlemen, what I can say, I want to first congratulate to all the winners, especially Steven for winning our Permanent Progress Award. Steven, I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to basically let you, give you the award, hopefully in person. Let's see how we're going to organize that. For everyone else, we're going to reach out to send you your awards. All the finalists are getting into the Winter Look Academy that starts in January 2022. You're getting in for free, and you're also winning free licenses to full bundle for Collab AI Pro. If you have it already, you're just going to get the next year for free in value of $500. And also, you're all going to get a T-shirt, from the Summer Look Academy. By the way, these T-shirts are now in a very limited edition, available only to the attendees of the course. If you have checked your emails, we have sent you the link. If you want to have some memory on this amazing course, this is a kind of great opportunity. I want to thank you all, first of all, for participating, for wanting to get better, to wanting to improve your skills. I'm certainly going to use, this video, and promote it amongst directors and producers and cinematographers that are on our mailing list. And I hope that some of you get discovered, and that Summer Look Academy is not just going to help you become better with your skills, but also going to help you to reach out to new directors, new cinematographers that you're going to be able to work with, because I think the skills and the quality of work you are showing is exceptional. It's above anything, and I want to congratulate you all on an amazing performance. And I'm really looking forward to welcoming you all on the Winter Look Academy. We're going to start application process already next week. where we're going to, show the full schedule of the training courses that we have planned for the rest of the year and for January 2022. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being a part of this small, colorist community. And, good luck in all of your endeavors, and I hope to see you all soon, very soon, actually. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.